Part 12. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 111. After thinking this, I heard Sakayanagi Yuzu continue. By the way, Oreki-san isn't here now. He's not here now. Horikita Suzun suddenly felt a little unstable. Because everyone knows that Sakayanagi Arisu and Oreki-san had a high-profile relationship. Then they broke up quickly. Only. Horikita Suzun looked at the blonde-haired Alice Sakayanagi who was playing with the toys given by Dr. Kushida with her two daughters. Alice is blonde. Sakayanagi has silver hair, while Oreki-san has black hair. Silver hair and black hair cannot have a blonde child. And now the real winner is her. Lawyer Horikita felt emboldened. How old is Alice? Horikita-san asked. Probably because I rarely contacted my former classmates after graduation, so classmates who obviously didn't have much of a relationship with me in the past felt closer to each other. Let's remember the past together. 10 years old, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. And Horikita Suzun nodded. Then it was the one where Banliu was promoted to second grade and then dropped out of school after half a semester. I didn't expect to meet again in this way at this time, which is a bit sad. Then Horikita-san felt relieved and chatted with Sakayanagi-san about other things, and even the hostility disappeared. He even introduced his specialty dishes. Time passed quickly, the two's reminiscing ended, and Horikita sent them to the door. The driver, Kamuro-san, was already waiting. Suzun looked at her two daughters. Say goodbye to Sister Alice. So the two daughters, who were only 5 years old, waved to the blonde elder sister who was playing with them. And Alice is quite polite. Lingling, goodbye Yunyin. Also, goodbye Mommy Horikita. I told you not to call me that. But Mama Horikita had no chance to get angry because Sakayanagi-san had already rolled up the car window. And the cars drove away in droves. Sitting in the car, classmate Sakayanagi taught his daughter a lesson. Alice, don't dye your hair blonde casually next time, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. But the daughter has her own ideas. Eh? Really? But I think gold is very comfortable, the sparkle is quite dazzling. I don't like black, it's not conspicuous at all. These words made Sakayanagi Yuzu cross his arms. Therefore, neither she nor Oreki-san likes to be high profile. Who is this daughter following? Madam, Miss, Mr. Oreki has already booked a private room at Josenkei Hot Spring. The driver in front adjusted the rear view mirror and said. Yes, Yuzu. Sakayanagi nodded. Then he looked at his daughter. Well, anyway, we are going to the hot springs later. Alice, remember to wrap up in a towel when you soak in the hot springs. Saying this, Arisu straightened her daughter's long blonde hair that she had just dyed today. She has had many opportunities to grow her hair over the years, but she still likes it to be just above her shoulders because growing hair represents growth, but she likes her toddler body shape. She knew Oreki-san liked it too. Hey, but I want to sit on daddy's lap. If I wrap it in a towel, it will be wet and heavy and feel very uncomfortable. No, that's mommy's place. You have to be smart and go back to the room first. 20 No, you have to get up in 10 minutes. That's it again. And the dream ends here. But this woke up Oreki-san instantly. In other words, this is going to be a shock. Because Chapter 068. As a student of Class A, let's turn Class D into an ATM machine. And the dream ends here. Oreki-san also woke up instantly. In other words, I'm going to be frightened. Because this dream was a bit too intense. If at first I was just dreaming about lawyer Horikita, whom I hadn't dreamed of for a long time, then it was nothing. After all, I have dreamed about it many times. As a result, after using the precognitive dream this time, not only is the image of lawyer Horikita clearer, but even the two daughters Lingling and Yunyin are extremely vivid. That is to say, will he marry Horikita Suzun in the future? Why is this happening? He had never had such thoughts about Horikita Suzun, or in other words, Horikita-san was also the type who refused to fall in love in high school. So how does this future come about? This made Oreki feel complicated. But I haven't doubted my life yet. The real doubt about life is probably the appearance of Sakayanagi-san 10 years later. This is terrible. Although lawyer Horikita 10 years later seems to have been deceived, no matter which angle you look at it, does your future self actually have that kind of relationship with Sakayanagi-san? There is even a 10-year-old daughter, Alice Sakayanagi. And compared with what will happen in the future, based on the information provided by Horikita's lawyer, Sakayanagi had a high-profile relationship with him in the 2nd grade and then broke up quickly. Then I dropped out of school. But isn't he dating Kuruzawa-san? Moreover, from a high-profile relationship to a quick breakup, rather than investigating the reasons for the breakup, judging from the age of Sakayanaga's daughter Alice. More like, killing people at school. Under such circumstances, Sakayanagi had to drop out of school for the sake of his children. Oreki-san begins to doubt life. However, a system prompt sounded in my ear. Congratulations to the host for completing the physical transformation of superpowers. After the transformation, the superpowers will increase with time and age. Superpower physique, breaking through the boundaries of the human body. Where the boundaries of the human body refer to, the human body has a self-protection mechanism. In order to protect itself, the body will limit some reactions. For example, it cannot use absolute power, and the running speed will also be affected accordingly. Limitation, but in special circumstances, it will break through the limit and produce miraculous effects naturally. The side effects will be great after the effect is produced. In other words, now is the limit of achieving these complete liberations, but the body has grown to the point where it can keep up. Oreki-san was thinking. However, the system prompts continue. At the same time, congratulations to the host for gaining 2 superpowers. Clairvoyance and resilience. Clairvoyance, the ability to see to great distances and observe hair down to the smallest detail. Restoration ability, can restore damaged things to the state of the previous day. Note 1, it can also be used on living things, but if it is a disease, it can be restored to the state of the previous day. Disadvantages, after a day, the disease will return. Note 1, the same object or creature can only be used once a day. Oreki then checked the 2 newly added abilities. In terms of clairvoyance, it is similar to a telescope. It's just your own body, so you can use it at any time, and you can see farther. As for the recovery ability, it can repair damaged items, which is very beneficial. As for repairing the body, although the symptoms will reappear the next day, you can still deal with the emergency first. And if you have a good relationship with someone, you can still use it on the other person every day. In this way, the illness that the other party will recover from the next day can be infinitely prevented from coming again. Overall, it seems good. And he opened his eyes and felt that the strength of his body had reached an extreme. At the same time, it's terrifyingly light, transparent and relaxing. There is a feeling of wanting to jump instantly. It's just that the current room is only 2.2 meters high, and I instinctively feel that the roof will be damaged. Oreki glanced at his cell phone on the bed. A quick search of the Amazon forest. Soon. Because the internet can be linked, Oreki quickly found a photo of the Amazon forest taken last year. Do you want to use teleportation? Yes. The moment he made his decision, a new change appeared in front of him, which was a deep green. With his eyes focused forward, he could see the spider webs on the tall jungle in the distance. And spiders are red. The sun is shining brightly, but the completely natural atmosphere is quite strong. This is the Amazon jungle. In this kind of place, there is no one, but it is really comfortable to dance. Oreki was in a good mood. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 112. Normally, he would never call it that, but this kind of place feels quite open. Kaka. But Oreki also noticed that there were some sounds around him. And something in the mud began to swim towards the side. Judging from the opponent's underwater posture, it is probably a crocodile. Crocodile. And it's not just one. Oreki-san looked at the crocodile swimming toward him. There was still a little dirt on his eyes, as if he didn't expect there would be such a big prey at this time. Oh. The law of the jungle? And isn't that interesting? Oreki-san is in a good mood. Then, after probably playing for more than half an hour, Oreki-san finally stopped. He has always been regarded as a thin and ordinary boy. He also admitted that he was ordinary, but he didn't want to be regarded as a pretty boy. And now, although there is no change in the muscles, the intensity can be felt. And he glanced at the fainted crocodile that turned over in the mud pond next to him and exposed its belly. Although I have never systematically learned martial arts or boxing. But if you can kill the crocodile and reduce the difficulty, it should be easy. Do you want to use teleportation? Of course it is. He just went to test his newly acquired abilities, and he didn't want to be a boss there. Then, Oreki-san returned to the luxury liner. Because it is a separate room, you don't have to deal with your roommates when you come back directly. For him, spending the money and reducing the trouble is a very worthwhile thing. But he just looked at the time prompted by his phone. June 14th afternoon, 1700 hours. For Oreki, it just felt like a dream, but for others, 3 days had passed. Even though Oreki wasn't misophobic, he still felt the need to take a shower. Boom. As if by coincidence, Oreki had just finished taking a shower and wiped his hair with a clean towel prepared on the passenger ship, when the doorbell rang. And he looked at the mobile phone on the bed. The mobile phone was vibrating, and there was a call note on it, Hashimoto. It seems that the person at the door now is my classmate Masayoshi Hashimoto. Oreki-san. Finally see you, the other party said. Probably because he was enjoying the life of a luxury liner, he put on summer beach clothes. Only. After opening the door, the active class student took 2 photos of him. Then he made a show of quickly sending photos to other people. Oreki looked at him strangely. Sorry, even if I am out of school, I will still receive some special tasks. Hashimoto-san put his phone away and said quickly. Oh. So you were commissioned by someone, and then you went out of your way to take his photo? Instinctively feeling that he would get a cool answer after asking, Oreki-san chose to pretend to be an ostrich for the time being. Because it's scary, okay. He will marry Horikita Suzun in the future. In the end, I had Sake Inagi-san and my daughter. So is he a lolicon? He was completely unprepared for this or that. It's really hard to meet you, Hashimoto-san said. Then he handed a stack of organized documents to Oreki. This is the information collected by our Sakayanagi faction in the past 3 days, Hashimoto said. Including all first-grade students this time. We have obtained all their basic information, and then matched their photos, names, and mobile phone numbers. Oh. This is a good member of Class A. Very good at espionage. Then he corrupted a student from Class C. Then he discovered that Ryuan of Class C used violence to rule, and several students had injuries on their bodies. Then some people wanted to resist Ryuan. Although the students in Class B are easy to get in touch with, they always seem to feel that they cannot be corroded, Hashimoto Huey reported. Almost all of them are fans of Itchy Nose, and they have great trust in Itchy Nose to lead them towards Class A. Class D has already arranged several spies, but the students of Class D are hard to describe. In other words, I feel that if I have too much exposure, I will become stupid. Or maybe the students in Class D haven't realized that they were bribed to be spies and took other people's money. So what should they do to act like a spy? It was probably because Sakayanagi-san didn't come, but he told Hashimoto-san, so Hashimoto Masayoshi handed over the information collected by the Itaiji faction in the past 3 days to Oreki for review. This initiative may be Sakayanagi-san's request, or it may be Hashimoto's concern similar to Kamuro-san's. Now that I have become a member of Class A, I don't want Class A to be pulled down. Therefore, in order to maintain his status as Class A, he worked extra hard. Because Mr. Katsuragi has received the exact information, the score for this exam can be worth several hundred points. In other words, there is a possibility that the lower class will catch up immediately, so no Class A student wants to see this situation. I always feel that the atmosphere in Class C is weird. Hashimoto-san added. Long Yuan actually allowed Class C students to interact with other students. Before, in school, I couldn't get in touch with it at all. Hashimoto's tone seemed to be filled with lingering fear. In other words, the easily corrupted student of Class C may be the bait released by Ryuan. Ever since he discovered that the students in his class had been deceived by Oreki and the others, Ryuan had restricted the development of students in his own class and those in other classes. According to Kushida-san's aggrieved statement, she wanted to contact the students in Class C and was immediately publicly executed. Girls were prohibited from contacting her, while boys were scolded for being greedy and lowly, so their contact with Class C was basically cut off. Result: has Long Yuan relaxed this restriction now? So what can he gain by letting go of this restriction? Do you want students in your class to obtain information? However, in reality, when Class C's restrictions are relaxed, it is more likely that other classes will find out the information. Oreki's opinion of Ryuan is quite high. So I always like to treat Long Yuan as wool. And according to Oreki's understanding of Ryuan, Ryuan probably wants to start rushing Class A, but before starting to rush, he should give the students in the class a lesson first. After all, no matter how good your strategy is, if there are too many spies, your class will be closed book, but other classes will be open book. Then class competition is nothing. So you have to run a reliable class. He alone spoke, no spies. After thinking about it, Oreki thought he could take a ride. If Ryuan's plan includes the option of eliminating spies from his own class, then, he can bribe the students in Ryuan's class appropriately. On the one hand, buying spies can directly benefit you. Ryuan wanted to test whether the students in the class would be spies, so at the beginning, there would definitely be a lot of excitement. Even if it is discovered that classmate XX has been bribed, he will not act immediately. Therefore, the act of bribing spies to allow them to act can basically go smoothly. At the same time, a large number of points need to be paid to buy spies, but after Ryuan cleans out the spies, these large amounts will be concentrated in Ryuan's hands. Then find a plan to get all the points collected by Ryuan. When things are done, points can be added at the same time. Then the loop can be closed. Perfect. Then, Oreki-san felt better and dried his hair with a towel. Then, after quickly checking all the information submitted by Hashimoto, he was ready to go out. Hashimoto went to his room just to report the situation instead of showing a nervous expression. It means that the special examination belonging to this month has not started yet. But you can enjoy the configuration of the ship, which makes people feel a little comfortable. But for others, it was 3 days since they had seen him. So what information will appear on the mobile phone? Oreki turned on his phone and saw only some messages from his classmates. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 113. Then there is also one belonging to Katsuragi-san. Katsuragi-san's message was sent at noon. It seems that something has been discovered. I hope to discuss it with him. Then there were two messages, which were standard greetings from Kushida-san's friends and invitations to play. One, Sakura-san found that the sunrise was beautiful and suitable for the background. So she asked him if he wanted to take a picture, and she brought out the high-definition camera she bought at school. 3 invitations from Kuruzawa-san. There is only no information about Horikita-san. Wrong. In fact, she sent one over. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. However, the content of the message only has an exclamation mark. I don't know if she was in a complicated mood and condensed all the words into this, or if she simply said it wrong. And this is how he gets along with Horikita-san. If you have something to do, let's meet up. If nothing happens, it's okay not to see each other or contact each other for a few days. Who would have thought that in the future, I would marry Horikita-san, and Horikita-san would become a lawyer. And then there are a pair of daughters. Probably because he just finished his precognitive dream, Oreki-san is already confused about his future development. But what can be confirmed is the effects of dreaming are powerful. He had dreamed about Horikita-san in ordinary dreams before, and then he would pay more attention to Horikita-san. After gaining experience from Kushida-san's side, we will be able to resist. So I won't dream about Horikita-san again for a while. And now in my precognitive dream, I dreamed about it again, and it was confirmed. Therefore, I instinctively became a little concerned about Horikita-san. We need to confirm the situation of this Horikita-san who doesn't get along well with others. Then he ignored Kushida-san's messages and invitations from other classmates. After telling Kuruzawa alone that he would find her again later, he opened the door and came outside the cabin for the first time. The sea air swept over the cabin. Oreki-san walked to the deck. He was immediately covered by the brilliance of the setting sun. The luxury liner Hedgehog Cat is well equipped and quite grand. In addition to the equipment on the ship, the staff on the ship are also fully equipped. All equipped? Generally speaking, when arriving in a new place, Oreki might explore the surroundings. However, let's go meet Horikita-Susan first. Where are you now? He sent the message 10 minutes ago, and it took about 5 or 6 minutes for a reply. So the two agreed to meet on the deck. The school has paid to charter the entire luxury liner, so all services on the liner are free. But 240,000 a month, Oreki just paid 5,000 points and got the information of a waiter. It was like he applied to Mr. Majima for spending 100,000 points and then got a separate room. Points can still be used on the ship. Then the result is the opposite. The school did not pay tens of millions of points to charter the luxury liner, but the luxury liner originally belonged to the school. In addition to being specially used by students for exams, they are rented out to earn income when they are free. So these waiters and staff work all year round. Look at it this way. The financial resources of Yuchin High School are indeed quite impressive. This is Chairman Sakayanaga's expense, the waiter said. It's just that the school's funds cannot allow us to use the luxury liner properly. So this ship is actually your Chairman Sakayanaga's family ship. Oh. Then the Sakayanagi family is indeed a bit awesome. So, will I really have a daughter with a little princess from such a family in the future? So does that count as being taken care of for free? Oreki. So, I still have that dream in my mind. You don't seem to be in good condition at this time, a cold voice came over. Oreki-san is sitting at the bar next to the deck. A dark-haired beauty wearing a red sportswear appeared on the right side. She is quite beautiful. His eyes were still cold and stern, but his cheeks seemed a little rosy. Feeling a little weak. There is a contrast with her usual aloofness and indifference, which makes people feel unexpectedly heartwarming. This is Horikita Suzune. You're not in a good state. Oreki-san put his eyes on her for a moment, then quickly looked back. I feel very at ease. Because the way Horikita looks now, although she looks a little weak. But this is contrasting cuteness. It can increase her charm several times. Considering the precognitive dream he had this time, he was worried that he would not be able to look at Horikita-san. But now, he won't waver. So, he thinks that Horikita-san is still Horikita-san? It's just that it feels incredible. Because why would Horikita-san like this win after 10 years? Oreki-san was a little curious. After all, you know your own things. He often saw Sakayanagi Yuzu being shaken. So why? By the way, do you think Lolicons are terrible people? Oreki-san asked. Lolicon? What is that? Horikita Suzune didn't seem to understand. 2. She usually doesn't read extracurricular books. She thinks of extracurricular books as those similar to extracurricular exercises. And the ship was also equipped with a small library. In other words, she may have been reading a book these days. The evidence is in the profile of her face, where the hair on the bangs is a little upturned, and this kind of posture can only be found when lying on the table with a book on it. A friend of mine likes girls who are not tall, Oreki said. But many people think it is wrong. So are guys who like this type of girl a pervert? Oh, Horikita-san's tone seemed to have become calmer. She is completely uninterested in romance-related topics. I don't think there's any problem. After all, it's not that girl's fault that she doesn't grow taller. And since this kind of girl who is not tall appears, it is natural that she may fall in love with others. So if you like girls who are not tall, there is no problem. Don't worry, you're not a pervert. And this answer seems quite satisfactory. But why do you think I am this kind of person? Oreki was a little surprised. I share a room with Kushida and Sakura, Horikita Suzune said matter-of-factly. So even though he was annoying, Kushida was always in the room. Then I overheard her chatting with her friends. It seems that as long as someone consults you and starts as my friend, then this friend must be herself. I see. Not only did Kushida-san not get close to Horikita, but she actually gave Horikita Suzune a little more experience. I wonder if Kushida-san will be furious when he finds out. And since this week's portion has already been taken, it will only be 2 days before I can take it again. So Oreki-san doesn't want to spend time contacting Kushida-san. Oreki-san couldn't help thinking. So Oreki sat at the bar. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 114. While Horikita Suzune was talking to him, she also sat down. Her profile can be seen in this position. Her cheeks were still rosy. It seemed that he was right. She's probably sick. Not only can you tell by looking at her face, but her actions also show it. When the bartender asked her what she wanted to drink, she chose a glass of warm water. Although Horikita Suzune is really the kind of frugal and easygoing person. But consumption on board is free. So there is a high probability that she will choose other drinks. And those who choose warm water, are not trying to maintain health, but they are considering physical discomfort. So, drink more hot water. And this also explains that Horikita-san felt unwell when she woke up in the morning, so she sent him a message. But I felt that my physique was very good and maybe it would be over after 1 day, so I didn't continue to send messages. Oreki feels that he understands Horikita-san quite well. And even though he is not attracted to Horikita-san, the relationship between the two of them is as safe as ever. However, it was not in line with his character to do nothing after already deducing that she was unwell. He didn't like trouble, but if he could keep things simple he would still do it. And the exam hasn't started yet. If Horikita Suzun's symptoms don't get better during the exam, and she even feels regretful because of it, or is unable to complete the task, it will become troublesome. Therefore, it would be a straightforward solution to postpone the disease and let her survive the exam with a healthy body. But when did you feel uncomfortable specifically? Oreki asked. The superpower he just acquired, the ability to recover. When used biologically, cures can only push symptoms back to 1 day. So if you feel unwell on the first day on board the ship, there is nothing you can do. You discovered it. Horikita Suzun seemed to have given up resistance. Actually, when I woke up this morning, my body felt sore in my limbs and my throat also hurt. According to my experience, it may be that I blew the air conditioner all night last night and then caught a cold. Oreki nodded. It seems that it is still within the statute of limitations. But are you too tired recently? Oreki said. For example, reading a book or something. Horikita Suzun seemed to fall silent. Your score is higher than mine. Even if I don't control the score, I can't get your score. But I didn't see you studying at all. So I came to the ship and worked a little harder. For it. This is his fault. I underestimated Horikita-san's desire to win in studies. But since she only noticed the symptoms in the morning, then you should be able to use superpowers. Hold my hand, Oreki said. Why? Horikita Suzun seemed to be a little resistant. Right. Although she looked straight, she didn't understand. When Kushida took out the trash, she revealed that she could actually tell that Kushida was using a honey trap on him. And now being suddenly asked to hold hands or something, as a girl, you need to be vigilant. Kushida-san has been getting closer to me recently, and I'm not sure if I've been shaken yet, Oreki-san said. In other words, if I want to shake hands with her to see if I have turned into a scumbag who is obsessed with girls. Oh. Probably because he was talking about annoying people, Horikita-san didn't refuse. So the two held hands together. This was really a wonderful touch. Although he had a closer relationship with Kushida-san, he had not yet held hands. According to Kushida, holding hands. Are you kidding me? Are you really going to fall in love with me? I do not want it. Therefore, holding hands is not possible, but pressing fingerprints is. At that time, Oreki-san was thinking about his strange relationship with Kushida-san. But now I'm actually holding hands with a girl. Horikita Suzun is a top-notch beautiful girl, and the temperature of her hand is higher than his, probably because of a cold. It feels warm when you hold it. But are girls' hands actually that small? Oreki discovered that he had gained a new experience. Use your resilience. Oreki called up the system. Yes. Resilience. With the completion of this action, Horikita Suzun's weakness suddenly disappeared. The cheeks returned to their normal color. At the same time, the eyes also become more alert. Oreki let go of Horikita's hand at the right time. Horikita. However, Horikita-san seemed to frown. She shook her head. It seems to be checking the condition of the body. Oreki-san knows very well that this is an immediate effect of his recovery ability. The physical condition that had become extremely heavy due to the cold was relieved immediately. Horikita felt it immediately. It was like a miracle. Hold hands again, she said quickly. The only person who seems to have noticed changes in his body is that he was holding hands with Oreki Houtarou just now. So I wanted to ask for confirmation. Oreki-san pretended not to know anything and stretched out his hand. Forget it, but when Horikita Suzun was about to extend her hand, she retracted it. Oh. Oreki-san felt a little pity. Beep. At this time, Oreki-san noticed that the system's familiar prompt sounded again. But this is not the sound when explaining superpowers and physiques. Instead, a new task is triggered. Congratulations to the host for triggering the side mission. Choose one of task 2. 1. Smash Ryuan setup and expose the drama of discord between Class C performed by Ryuan. 2. During the Kojima exam, I got the initiative to build Class D into a new ATM machine. Task reward, the improvement of recovery ability will increase the period of curing the disease. Task period, 8 days. Mission punishment, when using clairvoyance, it will become cross-eyed, and the charm value will be reduced by 20. A new mission. While in the cabin, Hashimoto-san came over to report the situation, and the information obtained about Class C was that points were used to bury a spy in Class C. At the same time, it was also discovered that some people in Class C were opposed to Ryuan. So this may be an opportunity to exploit opportunities. And now it can be confirmed, don't the students in Class C trust Ryuan? In other words, Oreki never suspected that Class C would be at odds. Because Ryuan was able to terminate the strong man's arm and open his store agreement, it was impossible for someone who could do such a thing to win over even the students of Class C. Then, Oreki looked at Mission 2. Get the initiative of Class D and turn Class D into an ATM machine. The idea of Class D becoming an ATM machine almost overlapped with his idea some time ago. As everyone knows, a quick and reasonable way to collect points is to get them directly from students. You can squeeze them from the points they have already earned, or you can start with the points the school distributes every month based on class evaluation scores. And look at it this way. In fact, both Task 1 and Task 2 are fine. But if it's Mission 2, Oreki-san has more ideas. After all, Horikita-san is a student of Class D, Kushida-san is also a student of Class D, and Kuruzawa-san is also a student of Class D. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 115. It can be said. Most of the girls related to him are in Class D. And Class D is still pretty bad. But if we take the initiative of Class D first, then many things can be done. At the same time, if you use Class D as an ATM machine, you can also collect points to deal with the financial sponsor, which seems to kill two birds with one stone. That is to say, the choice is out. And now, yo. At this time, an annoying voice came. Isn't this Oreki Houtarou? Look towards where the sound is coming from. It was Ryuan Sho who appeared with his follower, the 2-meter-tall Albert. Also, pretty girl, you are Horikita Suzune, right? Ryuan seems to be interested in Horikita-san. Albert behind him immediately handed the phone to Ryuan. Horikita-san is a top-notch beauty, so many people are interested in her looks. And it's something like Long Yuan. Ryuan held his cell phone, getting ready to take a picture of Horikita-san. But if you're looking for Jogenji Temple, you'll have to wait a while, Oreki said. I'll contact him now. Long Yuan. I heard a pretty nasty name. It seemed like he suddenly lost interest. Long Yuan put the phone away again. At school, he was blackmailed by Oreki. Houtarou Oreki, together with that guy from Class D, Takahiraji, caused a fight between him and Class D, and then directly lost 800,000 points. Add to that the more than 2 million lost by those idiots in the previous class and Oreki Houtarou's plan to open a store. So after all the calculations, Class C actually paid close to 3 million points to Oreki Houtarou. Is this guy a gold-eating beast? And according to Hiri's suggestion, don't fight Class A hard steel yet. To be precise, don't make an enemy of Oreki Houtarou. The current score of Class A is too high. You have to consider collecting points and getting class evaluation scores as the best strategy. At the same time, Ryuan admitted that Oreki's thinking style is that he thinks a lot and can also set traps. If you get close, you can easily be misled by him. So avoiding it first is indeed an excellent plan. So, Ryuan took Albert aside. Probably because they wanted to come out to watch the sunset, there were suddenly more students on the deck. The number of people asking for various drinks from the waiter has also increased. Long Yuan is also going to ask for a bottle of drink. But this time, Ryuan. He was in trouble. A girl with short blue hair walked out of the cabin angrily. I can no longer accept your rule. Let your fists do the talking from the beginning. And now, she said. They said they wouldn't let us contact other classes, and then now they force everyone to get the contact information of 2 students from other classes. I reject. Oh. So this new girl with short hair is very innocent. Contributed information all at once. There are not only Oreki and Horikita-san on the deck, but also students from other classes. Everyone is looking at this girl with short hair. Some of the students had begun to react. After boarding the ship, students from Class C who usually had no contact with them in school suddenly started to pester them. I thought they finally figured out how to get along with everyone. However, there are also some students in Class C who seem to be reluctant. The result is this. Class C is ruling violently. Then came Ryuan's order. But what does Ryuan want to do by collecting everyone's contact information? Ibuki, aren't you convinced yet? Ryuan drank coffee quietly. Snored. The short-haired girl named Ibuki kicked Ryuan hard. Albert. Faced with this scene, Ryuan calmly read out the name of the 2-meter-tall bodyguard following him. Yes, boss. Albert is very tall. His height of 2 meters and his huge body give people a strong sense of oppression. He is a student of Class C, but he gives the impression that he is a very strong bodyguard. Albert, you have been tamed, well. But it was Ibuki who spoke. But his body was thrown directly to the railing. Ibuki seems to know some martial arts skills, but skills are useless in the face of absolute power. Boom. Ibuki's back hit the guardrail of the deck hard. Ryuan. Stop your violent behavior. A girl with long pink hair ran over from the side. It seemed that everyone was gathered here, and there were also classmates from Class B. After Ibuki was thrown out, a little angel from Class B immediately told Ichinose. So Ichinose-san, who has a strong sense of justice, appears. Do you still want to continue to bring trouble to the class? Ichinose said eloquently. Don't forget that you already left a record in the student union last time. Haha, Ichinose. Ryuan stood up. I'm just playing with my classmates, right, Albert? Yes, boss. Albert turned back quickly. Ibuki, if you want to resist, then resist, Ryuan said. And next time I won't be so lucky. Having said that, Long Yuan stopped looking and ordered the coffee without even taking a sip, and turned around to leave. Because the two of them left, the oppressive momentum around them seemed to loosen a little. Ichinose and other students from Class B went to check on Ibuki's status. Because just now everyone heard the sound of Ibuki being thrown out and hitting the railing. No matter how you look at it, you are injured. Are you okay? Let's go to the infirmary together. I walked around the entire ship yesterday and know where the infirmary is. Ichinose squatted down and said. I'm fine. However, under the attention of the gentle archangel, Ibuki-san was very stubborn and grabbed the railing to get up. Then hold the railing and walk forward bit by bit. The competition at the bottom of Class C is really ugly. There were also students from Class A present. If this is Ryuan's method of controlling the class, that would be too mean. Katsuragi-san was also informed by his classmates from Class A that something happened on the deck. What we saw was this scene. Ryuan is ruled entirely by violence. Then they forced the students in Class C to take action. But it seems that there are people in Class C who disagree with Ryuan's rule, so if we can contact someone in this area. Yahiko next to Katsuragi offered advice. Since the score value of this test is so high, if you are worried about Class B or Class C climbing up, then you should plant some nails in Class C first. Contact those who resist Ryuan's rule, and then dismantle Class C. Katsuragi crossed his arms. Finally shook his head. Don't be impulsive yet. He is a steady man. I saw Oreki-san was here just now, so I might as well ask his opinion first. Katsuragi-san looked towards the bar. It turned out that neither Horikita Suzun nor Oreki-san was in their original positions. Oreki-san and Horikita-san are indeed no longer in their original positions. I was worried about Horikita Suzun's health before, but now she has recovered. Then you can start taking action. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 116. But she followed him and seemed to be quite concerned about Ibuki being beaten just now. You know, when Kushida was asked to trick the students of Class C into coming over, it was also confirmed that the students of Class C were at odds with Ryuan. As a result, the flames of discord are still burning. Only. Don't be stupid, Oreki-san analyzed. You think Ryuan was fooled by us last time, but he was willing to use points to keep his class evaluation score. So will he still be so casually violent when so many people watch him? So what do you mean dash? Horikita-san has already reacted. Ryuan probably wants to make a big move. Then. Oreki-san said. I could use that. And now. Horikita, go find Shibashira-sensei now. I want to confirm something, Oreki said. Confirm what? Go to Shibashira-sensei and find out the details of when she led Class B to fly to Class A and finally failed. I need to confirm whether the school is really preventing students from Class D from climbing up. But Horikita Suzun's eyes widened. Would the school actually make such a decision? Then. You want to know what these are for? What do you want to do? Of course. In this exam, he took the initiative of Class D and turned Class D into his personal cash machine. Chapter 069, Kojima Examination, that savage from Jyuan Temple, no, a tool man. From the first day of enrollment, we knew that this school is about strength and points. Is there any problem with saving up some points? No problem. Since entering school, everyone in Oreki's class has given 50,000 points in order to obtain the school's rules. Then because of his store opening plan, Class B suffered some losses, and most of the points gained by Class C were taken away by him. So now, we see that all three classes in the first grade have been tightened, so only Class D is left. Class D's class evaluation score is already at the bottom, and the students in Class D don't have much living expenses, and they even borrow money from each other. So under such circumstances, can it still be squeezed out? Okay. According to the information contributed by Katsuragi-san and Kamuro-san, the test score this time may be as high as 500-600 class evaluation points. It was a score that was enough to make the steady Katsuragi-kun unable to remain calm. The evaluation scores for the current four classes are as follows. Class A 1330. Class B 670. Class C 490. Class D 80. There is a 660-point gap between Class A and Class B, very reassuring. As a result, a special exam now costs 500-600 points. If you are caught up, the consequences are unpredictable. Katsuragi-kun felt very distressed. The president can choose the score value for each special test. He can choose a particularly small value or a very high value. So why was such a large score chosen this time? What on earth is President Horikita thinking? Katsuragi-kun feels heavy-headed, but Oreki-san doesn't. A score of 500-600 points is enough to affect the status of Class A. although I have not yet been informed of this month's exam rules and exam direction. But Oreki-san thinks this is no problem. Even before the exam, I could think of 3 plans to maintain my position in Class A. What Class A wants is to maintain its position so that Class B and Class C below cannot catch up. Then you can let Class A show its absolute excellence and completely monopolize 600 points, or swallow up most of the points. Continue to maintain a distant lead. You can also dispose of these 600 points and get a little from each class. Then everyone's scores will increase, but the gap will still exist. Class A continues to maintain its lead. The third option is more extreme. It is to throw this dangerous 600 points directly to a class that has nothing to do with class ranking, that is, Class D. Once Class D rises, Class B and Class C don't want to rush into Class A, but have to get Class D down first. Otherwise, their own class will suddenly become a lower class. After lowering the class, the first thing you will experience when moving up is the pressure. So it directly turned into a BCD chaos. Class A will just have to watch when the time comes. Oreki clicked on the system again and took a look. After he made his choice, the system's mission was updated. Side mission. Task requirement: in the small island exam, get the initiative of Class D and turn Class D into a cash machine. Task period: 8 days. Task reward: recovery ability is improved, and the period of healing ability will be extended. Mission punishment: when using clairvoyance, your eyes will become cross-eyed, and your charm value will be reduced by 20. Mission progress: 0%. Oreki stared at the system's mission prompts. Among the 3 methods of handling this exam mentioned above, he chose the third one. It's somewhat selfish. The third option allows Class A to maintain its position and is accountable to Class A. And selfishly, the girls who are familiar with him are all in Class D. Although he can give points to help, it is also okay to give them a hand. And Class D can also use some of its own strengths, cash machines. Oreki-san felt there was no need to waste it. And it works for him too. As long as you get a new cash machine, you can return the points to the other party when the sponsor finds out that he is dating other girls and gets angry. But one thing that needs to be confirmed is whether the school really refuses students from Class D to move up. After all, there are many problem children in Class D. If Class D is brought up, the problem children will look at it and think, ah, it seems that they can be taken care of, so they will take care of them. If you really bring it along, it will become an obstacle to Class A. At that time, we have to consider taking down Class D again. This is not energy efficient at all. Therefore, we need to find out the reason why Chibashira-sensei's original Class D ultimately failed. As long as the reason for her failure has nothing to do with her, but the school's preference, and does not allow students from Class D to be sent out to society to represent their own face, then there will be no problem. Because as long as this is confirmed, even problem children will not be recruited. Class D was initially excluded from class competition due to the school's rules. Then the school will suppress you if you lead Class D. If Class D flies too high, the school will take action. So there is no need for Class A to contribute at that time. Then you don't need to do things, and it doesn't matter whether it's troublesome or not. And Oreki thinks this is very likely. Because the school is also fair. Otherwise, there would be no rules such as giving 20 million points to go to the class you want. The reason is that if you are very strong and are assigned to a lower class, don't worry, you still have a chance and you can choose to fly solo. Then, after Horikita's recovery was arranged, Oreki would arrange a routine with Mr. Chibashira. All Oreki had to do was wait for Horikita's contact. Thinking this, Oreki noticed someone walking over. After transforming his body into a super-powered physique, Oreki-san found that his perception and insight seemed to have improved. Oreki-san thought to himself, Then he turned around and stared at the figure who spotted him from the deck and followed him. "Sakura-san, are you coming to play outside on the deck too?" Oreki-san said. The person following him was Sakura Eri. In other words, the only people following him were Kamuro-san or Sakura, so they were easy to identify. This, yes, I'm sorry. A girl with long pink hair and a rustic dress came out of the corner. This is Sakura Eri. She still wore the rustic dress from school, with her long hair styled into a big twin tail. Then he wore glasses with pink frames. Then he held a camera in both hands, showing a weak and helpless look. "You sent me a message saying you wanted to take a photo of the sunset." Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 117. So I was on the deck just now, and I found out about Class C's quarrel, so I was too scared to get close, right? Oreki said. Yes, Sakura-san nodded immediately. Yes, that's it. Very scary. To her, it was probably a sight she had never seen before. But after what happened, I discovered him and followed him. Sakura-san, you really do have the gift of being a stalker. Oreki-san sighed inwardly. I recommend not to have contact with students from Class C, Oreki said. Also, if you are taking pictures. I want to take pictures now. Sakura's cheeks seemed a little red. But her eyes, which seemed timid, were actually a little fanatical. I think Oreki-san is very suitable to be a model. Oreki-san's skin has become fairer. And the aura has also changed. It seems to be more severe, Sakura Eri said, according to what she observed. As for the change in temperament, it probably happened when I saw Oreki-san again after boarding the ship. Saying this, Sakura-san pointed the camera at Oreki-san and took a photo. Oreki-san. I'm not asking you to take pictures now. And Sakura, are you so observant? Even his changes were noticed immediately. It seems that Horikita-san is too slow to notice it at all. In other words, it is because of such slowness that in the precognitive dream, lawyer Horikita 10 years later did not realize that Sake Inagi-san was a love rival and wanted to steal her husband. But I'm still waiting for information from Horikita's sister. I don't know how long it will take. So after thinking about it for a while, Oreki decided to make friends with Sakura-san first. Since you have chosen to do the task of Class D, you need to complete 2 requirements. 1. Obtain the sovereignty of Class D. 2. In the Kojima exam, Class D was turned into a cash machine. And now he has Horikita-san's card in hand, but it's like the last time she proposed a 50-point class evaluation score and ended up getting only 20 points. Horikita's sister can't speak in Class D. So I have to arrange it? In other words, there are too few people who can drive now, and some assistance is still needed. After all, he is not in Class D. So he followed Sakura-san out of the cabin again and headed to the deck. And the other side. The 4th floor of a luxury liner. This is a broad theater. As advertised by the passenger ship, it is fully equipped and treats students as important guests. Even though the occupancy rate is less than 10%, the management of the ship is still performing the drama according to the time regulations. The performance is a stage play. This sky is free. There is hope even in the dark underground. These are my wings. On the vast stage, the play The Wings of Icarus is being performed, telling a story about the theme of freedom. Horikita Suzun had Chibashira's number, and when she was asked by the other party to fly to Class B with Class D, she also added the other party's number. So you can just use GPS to find the other party's location. Result. He quickly found the other party's location in the theater. Professional actors are acting on stage. There were less than 20 spectators below. And Horikita Suzun quickly found the direction of Chibashira Sae. Chibashira sat in the second to last row. Then there was an empty seat next to her seat and a young man with an expressionless face sat there. That was Ayanokaji Kiyotaka, a classmate, who was evaluated by Kushida as someone who lacks some common sense in life. Although he hates Kushida, Horikita still listens to some of what Kushida says. And now, is there anything wrong with this classmate who usually doesn't behave much sitting next to teacher Chibashira? But Chibashira-sensei Horikita Suzun would be surprised if she could read the atmosphere. I have something to ask you. Chibashira. What do you want to ask? I want to know the details of your Class D's failure after reaching Class B, Horikita Suzun said. I suspect that the school doesn't want Class D to be promoted at all, because Class D has to represent the school's face when they are promoted. For example, Yamauchi and the others are still conducting our volume rankings. I don't think the school thinks that such students can be promoted to represent the school face. Chibashira. Chibashira originally wanted to focus 3/3 of his attention on the drama, and then 6/10 of his attention on Ayanokaji Kiyotaka, who had an empty seat. Right now, almost all of her attention is on Horikita Suzun. From this perspective, Class D is indeed hopeless. Once upon a time, she thought that Horikita Suzun was herself who had not grown up. But she is not as tactless as Horikita. Or she was initially fooled by the fact that Horikita Suzun was the younger sister of the student council president. Horikita Manabu was known as the best student council president in history. Then the student council president couldn't be much different. So when he speculated that Horikita Suzun was Horikita Manabu's younger sister, Chibashira thought he had found a treasure. But now, in fact, Horikita Suzun is completely inferior to her brother. At least, not even with the eyesight. It doesn't depend on the atmosphere at all. But she is also in a bad state here. Ayanokaji Kiyotaka is her trump card. When I first discovered this hand card, I received a call from outside the school, and Ayanokaji's father called in. Then she realized that this Ayanokaji Kiyotaka was different. Maybe it can be used. But she was defeated inside by the man behind Horikita Suzun. This Class D is indeed the worst Class D, but it is also a promising Class D. There are particularly many problem children in this class, and these problem children do not mean that they are low in all aspects. It should be said that some defects have lowered other scores. While in other respects there are standards for Class B, no, there may even be standards for Class A students. For example, Kojinjiro Kusuke is arrogant and looks down on others. He thinks he is the most beautiful and the best, and refuses to cooperate with others. This is the reason why he was assigned to Class D. But his own academic ability, athletic ability, adaptability, and even thinking ability and judgment will not lose to Katsuragi from Class A, and may even surpass several Katsuragis. So Kojinji Temple is a treasure, no. After enrolling, he should have been aware of the school's rules, but he deducted more than 100 points in class alone. So it is almost certain that he will not take Class D up. He wasn't even bothered at all by the fact that he was assigned to Class D. Because he probably chose to collect 20 million points and run away from the beginning. In addition to Kojinji, Horikita Suzun, Kushida, Hirata, these are all good seedlings. But good people do. There are also those with many flaws, like Yamauchi, Ike and the others. The man behind Horikita Suzun also gave Class D a plan to fly, one of which was to delete so many people who were holding them back. But after deleting so many people, is Class D still Class D? Or it could be the same as what the man behind Horikita Suzun said, if the man behind him buys Class D with money. So is Class D still Class D? Can her long-cherished wish be fulfilled? Putting the cart before the horse. So when Horikita Suzun gave up taking Class D, both Chibashira and Ayanokaji knew that the plan to take D to Class A was probably over. If even an honest person like Horikita Suzun doesn't work, who will take over? And now the person sitting next to her with an empty seat is Ayanokaji Kiyotaka. The day before boarding the ship, A person came from outside the school. Ayanokaji's father. Ayanokaji Masayoshi. And Chibashiro finally understood Ayanokaji Kiyotaka's identity, and at the same time he also understood what his father was capable of. It's not like the so-called first-term teachers can disturb or borrow their reputation. The father's request was that Ayanokaji Kiyotaka drop out of school. The chairman knew the other person and called him Teacher Ayanokaji. But the attitude is clear. Refused. So Ayanokaji left angrily. The chairman also told her that the school would protect its students fairly. No force will be allowed to interfere with students. But he also had to deal with it himself. In his understanding, if Mr. Ayanokaji failed to achieve his goal, he would come back again. And when the time comes, I'm afraid the other party won't come alone, but will force people into the school or something like that. And he has no authority to stop this kind of thing. In other words, facing Ayanokaji's justice, the chairman could not bear it. Therefore, it is completely impossible to drive Ayanokaji Kiyotaka and then let him fly class A or something like that. So today, the autistic Chibashiro just asked Ayanokaji Kiyotaka to come over and tell him that his father had come to school. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 118. Then relay what the chairman said to the other party. The school will protect him, but it can't prevent his father from arranging for someone to come in and deal with it. So he needs to be prepared. Should he drop out of school early or continue to stay in school? If he stays in school, he needs to pay attention to the people his father puts in. That is to say, even if the man pushes someone in, the school's mechanism is still there, so the other party can only act according to the rules. At most, they will participate in or target the plan to make me drop out of school. For example, interfere with the content of the special exam. A minute before Horikita Suzun arrived, Ayanokaji spoke. He definitely doesn't want to go out. As long as you go out, you will definitely be found by that man. This place is beyond the control of that man. And this is the area of little freedom he wants to gain. So, even if it was only 3 years, he wanted it. But since the other party doesn't give up and wants to force people in, it means that the man will operate illegally. And it's okay for him to break some rules. Sae Chibashiro had approached him before and wanted him to lead the class, and he would give her full support when necessary. In other words, the end justifies the means. Even though he was facing that man, Chibashiro couldn't look at him at all. But Chibashiro does have the identity of a homeroom teacher. It's the faculty. So, now maybe you can buy Chibashiro as a weapon to strengthen your side's chances of winning. Chibashiro may have been autistic, but it still inspired her confidence. Because he is going to take action. But now, Ayanokaji shut up. If the school originally restricted Class D and Class D had no possibility of climbing up, then Chibashiro's support would be nothing. And the other side? Oreki-san was convinced. Please unbutton your shirt, no, not the bottom, but the first and second buttons of the shirt dash. Yes, that's it, please stay still. Oreki-kun, you seem to have changed your mind. Oreki-san was standing against the second floor deck. Stand and move according to Sakura's instructions. Originally, he just wanted to get a job as a tool worker in Class D to participate in auxiliary work, but Oreki regretted it. Because something is wrong with Sakura Eri. Maybe I was just a little introverted at first, and I was embarrassed to raise the camera. But she got into a frenzy about halfway through. He seems to understand this very well. Very understanding. And when I asked her, this is what she answered. Well, actually I worked as a graphic model when I was in junior high school, but I was very embarrassed, so I hoped that a female photographer would teach me photography, and then I gradually learned how to take selfies. At the same time, it seems that because of this, I like to take pictures of beautiful scenes. I hope to use my camera to record the beautiful scenery. Oreki-san reacted immediately, so when he was followed by Sakura-san for the first time, he asked her what she thought of being a stalker. Turns out she really hates stalkers. Because she is a graphic model herself, her friends were harassed and she felt terrible. But being able to serve as a graphic model shows that she looks very good. And the current rustic dress may just be a cover-up. You don't want to be noticed. But Sakura didn't seem to notice this. She is still taking pictures. She likes to take pictures of beautiful scenes. In other words, do you think he is actually a good painting? Since it was meant as a compliment, I accepted it. But this is the deck. The sun is gradually setting, and many people come to the deck to watch the sunset. Although some students dispersed due to the commotion in Longyuan. But there are some students there. Isn't Sakura doing a good job? I don't think you have this kind of talent at all. We also took a lot of photos. Several hot girls came over. He is a student in Class D, and they are all Sakura's classmates. And they are quite cute in appearance. In other words, the quality of girls in Class D has always been very high. The most concerning one is a girl with a golden ponytail and bubble socks. Of course, the girl next to her named Sato with wavy curly hair is also good looking. I just think Oreki-san is very suitable for taking pictures, and I want to take some pictures. No, it's not interesting, Sakura Eri said quickly. And the weak look is a bit pitiful. Like a little animal being bullied. Hey, what's wrong with your tone? Am I bullying you? The leader of the hot girls, the girl with a single golden ponytail, seemed a little dissatisfied. No, to outsiders it does look like you are bullying Sakura. Fortunately, after Kurosawa said that, he didn't continue to pay attention to Sakura. Instead, he walked towards Oreki-san. By the way, Oreki-kun, do you have a date tonight? I've been on the ship for 3 days, but I haven't seen you at all, she said. Is Kurosawa so bold? The companions next to him quickly helped out. As for the girl who spoke, Oreki knew that she was Kurosawa's companion who witnessed the scene when he was hugged by Kurosawa on the stairs of Class D on the first day. This is a girl with short blue hair who looks more individual. As for the name, Oreki quickly filtered through all the information obtained from Hashimoto, and then confirmed the other party's name, Shinohara Satsuki. But she's not very good at finding friends. Although she looks pretty good, she's just ordinary cute. In front of Kurosawa-san, who has a cute face, he immediately became a green leaf. Only. This is a friendship between girls. Oreki-san has already reflected on it. He doesn't understand how girls get along with each other. I already have an appointment with Sakura-san. Oreki glanced at Sakura Eri, who was obviously very conspicuous and excited just now, but after the hot girl gang came over, she immediately became weak and helpless. At this moment, Sakura-san looked down at her toes in grievance, as if something had been taken away from her. Although she couldn't see her toes either. Sakura-XN. Almost instantly, Sakura-san caught everyone's attention again. It seems that I am being looked at with a kind of incomprehensible gaze. It seems that the girls in Class D don't get along very well with each other. She did me a favor before, so now she's returning the favor, Oreki Houtarou said. That means it's business, Shinohara-san nodded. Then there's nothing we can do. Kurosawa then left with his friends. But when he turned the corner, Kurosawa-san seemed to look back at him and paused for a few seconds. Oreki-san gained experience from Kushida-san. I kind of understand what she's thinking, maybe she's wondering if he likes to be with Sakura. Although he has no memory of this part, he can know it from his precognitive dreams. Kurosawa Megami was bullied when she was in junior high school, and then he saved her. She may be very fond of him. So I will pay attention to his love life. This is natural. Thank you for rescuing me just now. And there was a girl's voice that seemed to be a little low. Is Kuruzawa-san that scary? Oreki asked. Why, how should I put it, Kuruzawa-san is the leader of the hot girls in the class. Then she had a bad attitude towards the boys in her class. Someone accidentally dropped an eraser on her side and she just moved the table away. Probably because she was frightened, Sakura-san also realized that she seemed to be too presumptuous. He actually took a photo of a famous person like Oreki-san in such a public place. It is indeed too conspicuous. Then I'm really sorry, Sakura-san. Oreki-san thought to himself. At the same time, it was also confirmed that even if you want to get the sovereignty of Class D, it is too difficult to let Sakura-san assist. She is very timid. It may be difficult to muster the courage to speak up in class. However, he doesn't think Kuruzawa-san is scary. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 119. After Hui came to this school, her friends were also hot girls. At the same time, she herself dressed like a hot girl. But how a person dresses and looks is his or her own freedom. But Oreki realized that this might be Megami protecting himself. She was bullied in junior high school, and although she was stopped, high school came to a new place. What should you do when you are not sure whether you will be bullied again? As well as the first day she hugged him, she was full of affection for him. Then in other classes, I don't want him to misunderstand. So does this mean that he has completely severed his relationship with the boys in his class? And the same performance that can do both of these things is the imagination of becoming an unreasonable hot girl. Boys stay away from her, but girls, because of the strong look she puts on, who can bully her? Therefore, there is no need for him to help protect her anymore. It can be seen that Kuruzawa also worked hard. But this is a headache, because from the precognitive dream 10 years later, he will find out that the person he ended up dating was Sake Inagi-san. Then the winner of the marriage was Horikita Suzune. So how do you avoid losing? Then, after being disturbed, Sakura-san ran away in a hurry. Oreki-san stood here on the deck, leaning against the guardrail, feeling the sea breeze blowing in front of him. The sunset lasted only 10 minutes, and now it had completely gone down. The sky also became much darker. What were you doing just now? At this time, the familiar and stern girl's voice came. This is the winner, Horikita Suzune. Oh, you're back. Oreki glanced at Horikita-san. How was your consultation with Chibashira? Is it recorded? Oreki asked. Yeah, Horikita Suzune nodded. Then he handed the phone to Oreki. Oreki clicked on the recording file. Horikita, I don't know how you got this idea. But I don't think the school will be unfair. So I think, Horikita, you are wrong, and please don't pass this idea on to other Class D students, otherwise it will collapse. This was the voice of Sae Chibashira. Teacher Chibashira denied that Class D was restricted by the school from moving up to Class A. But so what about Chibashira-sensei's subsequent performance? Oreki asked. She said she went drinking. Oh. At this point, it's time to go drink. Then it's just that he finally came to his senses and immediately became autistic. Therefore, Chibashira's words reflected that the school really resisted the promotion of Class D students to Class A. So I turned around suddenly and realized, I had made a mistake from the beginning. The school never gave Class D a chance. Then this time Oreki prepared to plan this mission. So I prepared to arrange things for Horikita-san as usual. Just his cell phone beeped twice. A message was received. It belongs to Kuruzawa-san. Houtarou, I really didn't want to bully Sakura just now. Horikita-san didn't look sideways. In her mind, Oreki-san was just her brother who took her flying and brought her experience. So, what about the other person's love life, whether it's being shown off by Kushida or having contact with other girls? It has nothing to do with her. After Oreki-san replied to the other party with the message "I know," he put his phone away. About this exam. The news I got is that the special exam is worth 500-600 points, Oreki said. Oh. Horikita Suzun immediately became energetic. For the current Horikita Suzun, even hearing that Class D was restricted from joining Class A by the school was not enough to shake her. After all, she chose to collect 20 million points very early, instead of flying up with Class D. If you do that, your brother will definitely laugh. Smiling and talking about the ringtone, are you sure you want to pull up those classmates who are holding you back? Do they have this value? This sentence will make people uncomfortable. Of course, what's more accurate is, she found that her classmates would not listen to her opinions. So it is impossible to mobilize them to act. And there is no way he can defeat Oreki Houtarou. Then it is better to choose the plan of collecting 20 million points. Collecting 20 million can also be recognized by my brother. Then choose this one. And now, it's been half a month since I gained new points. Has the opportunity come again? Horikita Suzun listened carefully. This score is enough to impact the position of Class A, Class B or Class C, Oreki-san added. Then what I do is dash. Put these 600 points here in Class D, Oreki said. Suzun was stunned for a moment. Put it here in Class D. Refer to your actions to obtain a 50-point class evaluation score. I found that Class D is still valuable. Oreki said. And what I want is these 600 points. No matter how your Class D students are, the school will fairly award points equal to the class evaluation score x 100 every month. Then we take the points away from that part. Isn't this a good plan? As for my Class A, your Class D has risen. Anyway, Class D has no chance to rush to Class A. Even if it rushes up, the school will intervene. So it's safe. At the same time, you can also get us points from Class D, Oreki said. Horikita Suzun understood now. Since the score of this test is so high, it is also a test for Class A. But now Oreki's choice is to directly transfer this test to Class D. Class A is safe, and everyone will start with points. At the same time, Class D's points will increase, and Class BC will also be under pressure. Only Class A is the easiest. Only. Then my reward this time is, after thinking about it, Horikita-san was concerned about the income. Because she is no longer interested in Class D. When Houtarou failed, her suggestion was to give the class a 70-point class evaluation score. Then she only asked for a 50-point class evaluation score, and in the end she only received 20 points of remuneration. So I'm actually quite unconvinced. She usually only gets 10% of the pay for her job with Oreki-san. But now, I feel like I can raise the price. After all, Oreki's current proposal to treat Class D like wool was also inspired by the 50-point class evaluation score she first proposed. So she felt that this time, she could get more. Oreki-san. If it's about relationships, Horikita's classmate 10 years later will be lawyer Horikita. Then it's a family. Oreki-san really couldn't negotiate with her how much money to give her. But now, it doesn't matter if the two of them don't interact, and even when they shake hands, their hearts don't move. So, it is a very clean and cooperative relationship. So, your remuneration is still 10%, Oreki said. You have to know, this is Class D. Class D can deduct 1000 points for the general code of conduct in the open book test in the first month. Even if they get 600 points, do you think they can maintain this score? So we have to arrange a tool to intimidate the students in Class D to maintain 600 points. And do you think you can do this as a bad guy? Horikita. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 120. I definitely can't do it, or I don't want to do it. Even if those in Class D get points, they won't cherish them. In other words, my self-control ability is extremely poor. As a result, Horikita-san, who fell silent, withdrew his request for a price increase. Because of the situation in Class D, we need a good partner. Oreki looked forward. So where can I find such a suitable partner? Horikita asked quickly. Kojinji is just like you, we are both people who want to collect 20 million points and fly, Oreki said. And his own strength surpasses Katsuragi in my class. And Jyuan Temple is now. According to information obtained by Kojinji Rokusuke from his seniors, before they entered school, they discovered that Kojinji Zaibatsu's official website had photos of Kojinji. It shows that Jyuanji himself also has ideas. So what is Jyuanji doing now? Or is Jyuan Temple difficult to find? No. Very easy to find. It was quickly learned from the waiter that they had encountered a troublesome guest who, after swimming freely in the swimming pool, went directly to the beach without wiping himself. Then he walked wetly towards the cabin. This caused a lot of trouble for the cleaning staff. And now he was basking in the sun in the open air on the top floor of the ship. Of course, the sun was setting now. However, when Oreki and Horikita-san arrived, he had just gotten off the couch. Hey, isn't this Oreki-san and Horikita girl? By the way, Oreki-san, you had a great time taking photos down there. Jyuanji seems to be in a good mood. Of course not bad. Because of the point problem in school, he had to be busy collecting points. Although the school's facilities could satisfy students, for him, he was a kid from a rich family, and the school's facilities meant he was suffering. But returning to the ship made him feel like the heir of the Kojinji Zaibatsu and enjoyed the treatment. Of course I feel comfortable. It's like going through a hard life and finally getting the package and the treatment you deserve. Highland Temple. Oreki said. I'm here to invite you to take this exam. Oh. Gao Yuanji sat up suddenly. So how many points can I get? After participating in Inryuan last time, Jyuanji has become more enlightened. Although he wanted to use real cash to exchange the points in the students' hands. But real money cannot just enter the school, so he can only let the seniors who have already entered the school know that he is the true heir of the Kojinji Zaibatsu. Then through this relationship, we can first get credit. But after all, there are still several months until graduation, so the third-year seniors still have choices. So the progress of collecting points on his side suddenly slowed down. However, Oreki-san has already collected 20 million points, so Takaharaji is still very impressed with the opponent's ability and insight into earning points. Otherwise, he rarely talks to other people. He is a genius, a natural genius, and coupled with the cultivation of the Kojinji Zaibatsu, he thinks he is superior to others. Everyone else is mortal. Geniuses and mortals have no common language. But Oreki-san is recognized by him and has the qualification to talk to him. If the exam is worth 600 points, Oreki said, then 1 million will be given to Class D, 2 million will be given to you, and 3 million will be given to me. But you're responsible for getting those 600 points. At the same time, students in Class D must be allowed to maintain their score for at least 6 months. Hee. Jyuanji smiled. Then he glanced at Horikita Suzune. While Oreki was talking, Horikita-san remained quiet. It shows that she has always followed the other party's orders. Why is it that I am the one who gets 600, and you are the one who gets half of it? Then I have to prevent Class D from losing these points, Gao Yuanji said. This is not fair at all. So do you know the test questions? Oreki asked. Huh, Gao Yuanji looked at him. Didn't you find it? The ship's trajectory has become regular. Is it now orbiting a small island in the distance? Gao Yuanji suddenly sat up and stood up. This is the top level of the ship. It is also the place with the best scenery. The ship is moving forward at a constant speed, but it seems to be moving around a small island. Why do you think I'm on the deck in the evening? Oreki-san said. Weren't you taking photos with girls at that time? Yuanji said. From the top he could see the deck below. See the scene where Oreki Houtarou interacts with the girls in his class. At this time, Horikita Suzun looked at Oreki Houtarou with some surprise. Because there is such a thing? Completely unaware. Also, when she went to Chibashira to get information, Oreki Houtarou was actually taking photos with the girl. Chapter 070. You are all confident, right? Welcome to the island exam where the cakes have been distributed. Horikita-san seems to be in a bad mood. Just keep a straight face. But since meeting her, she hasn't smiled much, so people feel used to this state. So Oreki-san shared the information. When he was receiving photography guidance from Sakura-san on the deck, he was also facing the sea, and he could see the small island in the distance. And he also has the power of clairvoyance. So I quickly discovered that there was something wrong with the ship's trajectory. I speculate that the test site for this time's exam will be on this island. In fact, it is not a complete guess, because the system prompts already indicate that this is the Kojima exam. Side mission. Task requirement: in the small island exam, get the initiative of Class D and turn Class D into a cash machine. Task period: 8 days. Task reward: recovery ability is improved, and the period of healing ability will be extended. Mission punishment: when using clairvoyance, your eyes will become cross-eyed, and your charm value will be reduced by 20. Mission progress: 0%. Look. It's obvious. I don't think it's a simple score that allows students to go to the island to take exams. And the information Katsuragi-kun and the others obtained from their seniors shows that both second and third grade students take a ship in the third month and undergo a large-scale assessment. Second year Nagamoya relied on this test to gain points and improve her score. The third-year Student Council President also received a class evaluation score of 400 points in this exam. Oreki paused. Then we have to get a class evaluation score of 600. You know, Horikita Manabu is the best Student Council President in history. And what class did Horikita take? It was Class A, which was different from Class D, which had a bunch of pig teammates. No matter how bad the students in Class A are, they still know how to cooperate. Therefore, getting 600 points now is considered difficult. But interesting. Takahiraji claims to be a genius, and at the same time, he is indeed a super outstanding person in all aspects. So this kind of challenge is still barely qualified for him. But now the ship is still moving in a circular motion around the island at a constant speed. It probably stayed like this the whole night. According to my opinion, Oreki said, this school has always given people opportunities. So by tomorrow morning, the ship will probably move forward to shorten the distance. Give students a little buffer time. Then borrow all the camera equipment in advance. Even if students from other classes react, they won't be able to use high-definition equipment to take pictures of the island and get first-hand information, Oreki said. The island is there. Exactly what will be tested and how it will be tested is yet to be determined. But you can seize all the advantages first. No.